picturesque mountain town, a loving mother who vanishes without a trace on Mother's Day, a husband whose story keeps changing, each version more unbelievable than the last. And just when investigators think they've finally pieced together what happened, a shocking discovery turns everything upside down. The Zundrium is the disturbing, twisted mystery of Suzanne Morphew. May 10th, 2020, Mother's Day. In the quiet, idyllic town of Salida, Colorado, Suzanne Morphew should have been celebrating with her husband Barry and their 2 daughters. But by nightfall she was gone. No goodbye, no note, just silence. Suzanne had been known for her dedication to her family, a loving mother who always prioritized the well-being of her 2 daughters, Mallory and Macy. Her husband Barry, a man she had been married to for over 2 decades, seemed like the typical hard-working spouse. But this Mother's Day would shatter everything. Barry claimed he was 3 hours away in Broomfield on a landscaping job. Their daughters Mallory and Macy were on a camping trip. When they returned home that evening, Suzanne wasn't there. No replies to their texts, even though Suzanne was known for constantly being on her phone, especially when it came to her family. Something was terribly wrong. The absence was unlike anything they'd experienced before. Barry, who had been hours away, was reportedly the last to hear from Suzanne, but it was clear something wasn't right. A concerned neighbor checked the Morphew home. There was no sign of Suzanne, just her missing mountain bike. Barry, still hours away, insisted they call the police immediately. But when deputies arrived, they found the bike, abandoned near a ravine. Something felt off. It wasn't like Suzanne to leave her bike at such a place, and the way it was placed near the ravine raised suspicions. There were no crash marks, no broken branches, no dirt on the handlebars. The scene looked utterly staged. It didn't take long for investigators to suspect that the bike wasn't dropped by accident. Barry's explanation was equally strange. He claimed a mountain lion had attacked Suzanne, but no one could find any evidence to support that. As the investigation continued, the authorities began to uncover more inconsistencies. Barry's story began unraveling with each new revelation. His truck's telematics showed he had taken a suspicious detour that morning, 1 mile in the opposite direction of where he claimed to be working. When confronted, Barry quickly changed his story, now saying he was tracking elk at 4:30 a.m. But experienced hunters knew that elk don't roam at that time of the morning. Barry's new narrative didn't match the facts, and when his co-workers were interviewed, a bombshell dropped. Barry wasn't even scheduled to work that day. It didn't stop there. Surveillance footage from a nearby McDonald's showed Barry dumping 5 trash bags in a dumpster. His hotel room, which he had rented while working in Broomfield, smelled strongly of bleach. His phone, a device that Suzanne had once called a lifeline to stay connected, had been placed in airplane mode for hours the night she disappeared. And perhaps the most disturbing piece of evidence came from his truck. According to the vehicle's data, the door opened and closed a staggering 80 times in just 23 minutes. Was he loading something? Or worse, someone? Investigators were beginning to form a chilling picture. Suzanne's family and friends were heartbroken by her sudden disappearance, but something about Barry's behavior raised further concerns. While the investigation was unfolding, Suzanne's hidden fears began to surface. In secret notes on her phone, Suzanne had written, "I'm afraid of him. He won't let me leave." It seemed Suzanne had been planning to divorce Barry. She had documented his controlling behavior, his volatile temper, and his struggles with heavy drinking. Just days before her disappearance, Barry had confronted her about a secret affair she'd had with a high school sweetheart. For over a year, investigators worked tirelessly, executing 135 search warrants and interviewing over 400 people. They unearthed disturbing evidence in the Morphew home, including a tranquilizer dart cap in the dryer, a bullet casing in the bedroom, and charred pages from Suzanne's journal in the fireplace. The more they discovered, the more they were convinced that Barry Morphew was responsible for Suzanne's disappearance. But then, something completely unexpected happened. In a shocking courtroom twist, the defense revealed DNA evidence that didn't match Barry, but instead matched a serial predator, a man who had been linked to unsolved assaults across multiple states. And even more disturbing, this crucial evidence had been kept hidden from the defense until this moment. With no body, no murder weapon, and now a new suspect on the horizon, the case against Barry suddenly seemed to crumble. Despite the mounting evidence, Barry walked out of court a free man, smiling and surrounded by his defense team. It was a blow to investigators and Suzanne's family, who had hoped for justice, But now, everything was in limbo. But the story didn't end there. In September 2023, more than 3 years after Suzanne vanished, a group of investigators made a grim discovery. Human remains were found in a shallow grave, buried deep in Moffat County, Colorado. Dental records confirmed it was Suzanne. But the location where her remains were found raised even more questions. This new site was more than 50 miles away from the original search area, and it was tied to the same serial predator linked to the DNA evidence introduced during Barry's trial. The discovery brought Suzanne's family a small sense of closure, but it also opened up new, disturbing questions. How did Suzanne's remains end up in this location? Had Suzanne been the victim of an entirely different predator all along? Was Barry Morphew truly responsible, or was he simply the victim of a wrongful accusation? And what of the serial predator now linked to her death? Barry Morphew, now free from prosecution, has filed a lawsuit against the state, claiming wrongful prosecution and demanding $15 million in damages. But Suzanne's family, who still mourns her loss, is left waiting for answers. Was Suzanne the victim of a violent act, carefully hidden in a plain sight? Or was the justice system manipulated, allowing the real killer to remain free? The district attorney insists the case is still open. Barry Morphew's freedom might have been granted, but Suzanne's family is still searching for justice, still searching for the truth. What really happened to Suzanne Morphew? Was Barry a cold-blooded killer who manipulated the system, or is there an even darker twist yet to be uncovered? The case remains unsolved, with Suzanne's family holding out hope for the answers they desperately need, and the mystery of Suzanne's final moments lingers in the air, unsolved, unanswered, and haunting.